The front door clicked open on a Tuesday evening that would change everything. Maya stepped into the house she had purchased 5 years earlier, rolling her small suitcase behind her. 3 days in Boston, pitching to investors, had left her exhausted. The living room lights blazed unexpectedly. Marcus usually worked late on Tuesdays. Voices drifted from the kitchen. "Marcus?" She called, setting down her laptop bag. "In here." His tone was cold, unfamiliar. Something felt wrong. The air itself seemed heavy as Maya walked toward the kitchen. When she turned the corner, she froze. Marcus sat at their table beside a blonde woman in an expensive suit. The woman's hand rested possessively on his arm. "Maya," Marcus said, standing slowly. No smile, no guilt. Just determination. "We need to talk. Who is this?" Maya's heart pounded. "This is Victoria," Marcus said flatly. "Victoria, this is Maya, my wife." The way he said "my wife" sounded like my old car. Victoria smiled. It wasn't kind. It was victorious. "I'll be direct," Marcus continued. "I want a divorce. I've wanted one for a while, but I waited until I was sure about my future. Now I am. Victoria and I are getting married." The words struck Maya like physical blows. Married, divorce, future. Her brain struggled to process them. "What?" She whispered. "You're a good person, Maya," Marcus said, his tone patronizing. "But honestly, you've been holding me back. I'm a marketing executive. I network with wealthy people. I need a partner who matches that lifestyle. Someone with connections who understands the world I'm building." "I bought this house," Maya said quietly. "I paid for everything. With your tech job, I know." Marcus waved dismissively. "That's fine for you. But Victoria's father owns one of the largest software companies in New England. Do you understand what that means for my career? Her family has money and power that can set me up for life." Maya looked at Victoria. "You're okay with this? With him leaving his wife for money and connections?" "I'm okay with being with someone who knows what he wants," Victoria said smoothly. "Marcus has ambition. He deserves someone who can help him reach his full potential. No offense, but you've been dragging him down to your level for years." "My level?" Maya repeated, anger burning through shock. "You work in IT or something, right?" Victoria laughed lightly. "That's fine, but Marcus needs more than fine. He needs exceptional. He needs access to the world my family moves in." Marcus placed his hand on Victoria's shoulder. "I've already talked to a lawyer. I'm filing next week. We should split everything 50-50. The house, cars, savings." "That's fair." "Fair," Maya echoed numbly. "I'll stay with Victoria until we figure out living arrangements." Marcus continued like discussing a business transaction. "Her father already offered me an executive position. 6 figures, full benefits, stock options. This is the opportunity I've been waiting for. And I can't take you with me." "You don't even know me," Maya said quietly. "After 8 years, you don't know anything about me." "I know enough," Marcus said. "I know you're content with being average. I'm not. I never have been." Victoria stood, smoothing her skirt. "We should go, baby. Dinner reservations at 8. She looked at Maya with fake sympathy. "I'm sure this is hard, but honestly, you'll probably be happier too. You can find someone more on your level. Someone who doesn't have big dreams." They walked out together, leaving Maya standing alone in her own home. She heard the front door close, heard Marcus's car start, heard it pull away toward his new life. Maya stood there staring at the kitchen table, where her husband had just ended their marriage for money and status. She thought about the business she had built in secret, the company that had grown from a spare bedroom startup to something much bigger, the investments she had made, the board she sat on, the decisions affecting hundreds of employees. She thought about how Marcus had no idea who she really was, And slowly, very slowly, Maya started to smile. That night, sleep wouldn't come. Maya sat in her home office, the room Marcus barely entered, studying photographs on her wall. Their wedding 8 years ago. Her computer science graduation. The day they moved into this house. She took down the house photo and looked closely. She had been so proud that day. She had saved and invested and worked herself to exhaustion for this house. The mortgage was in her name. The deed was in her name. Marcus had been happy to let her handle financial details while he focused on his marketing career. Maya opened her laptop, needing to remember how she got here. They met in college at a mutual friend's party. Marcus was 2 years older, working on his business degree. Charming and confident in ways that made Maya feel special. She was shy then, focused on coding assignments and dreams of creating meaningful technology. They dated through her last 2 years. Marcus graduated first, got a marketing job at a pharmaceutical company. He was good at it, making decent money, buying nice clothes, taking her to nice restaurants. When Maya graduated, she got a software job making half what Marcus made. He used to joke about being the breadwinner, about her being his brilliant little programmer, but Maya hadn't told him about the side project she started in their small apartment. She had noticed a gap in the market for small businesses managing inventory and customer data. Existing software was too expensive or too complicated. She knew she could build something better. She worked on it at night while Marcus watched television or went out with his team. She told him she was learning new programming languages. He never asked for details. Technology bored him unless it made him money. After a year, Maya had a working prototype. She tested it with small businesses found through online forums. They loved it. They asked to pay her for it. She set up a basic website, charged a small monthly fee, and suddenly had her first 10 customers. That was 6 years ago. 6 years of quietly growing her business while Marcus climbed his own ladder. She hired her first employee, Rachel, who helped with customer service. Then another programmer. She formed an LLC, kept finances separate, and told Marcus she was doing consulting work for extra money. He never questioned it. 3 years ago, her business caught the attention of Gerald, who ran a tech investment firm. He reached out after seeing her software featured in a small business magazine. They met for coffee, and he asked about her 5-year plan. Maya told him the truth. She wanted to expand, hire more developers, improve the software, serve mid-size companies. She wanted to build something that mattered. Gerald offered to invest. He became her silent partner, owning 30% while she retained 70% control. Together, they grew her small side business into something real. They hired 20 employees, then 40, then 60. They moved from the spare bedroom to a small office, then a larger one, then a full floor downtown. Maya's software served over 500 companies. Revenue was in the millions. And Marcus knew none of it. To him, she was still his wife who worked in IT, making her salary, contributing to household expenses. She told him she got a promotion, explaining why she could contribute more to savings. She told him her consulting work was going well, explaining nicer clothes and better vacations. He believed her because he never looked deeper. He never asked about her work. He never asked about her day beyond pleasantries. He was too busy networking, making connections, dreaming about the big break that would make him wealthy and important. Maya kept her business and home life completely separate. Her employees knew her as their boss, the brilliant founder who built something from nothing. Marcus knew her as his wife, who worked long hours at a tech job. He didn't understand. She told herself she was protecting the business. If they divorced, she didn't want him claiming what she built. She set up corporate structures, keeping her company separate from their marriage. She took a modest salary and reinvested everything into growth. But there was another reason she never told him, a reason she barely admitted to herself. She knew Marcus valued her for what she could give him, not who she was. She knew he saw her as someone simple, someone safe, someone who would never outshine him. If he knew the truth about her success, everything would change. She had been right to hide it. Tonight proved that. Maya closed her laptop and looked around her office. This room was filled with awards Marcus never asked about, contracts he never read, plans for an empire he never knew existed. Tomorrow, she would call her lawyer. She would give Marcus exactly what he asked for half of their visible assets. She would let him think he won. And then, when the time was right, she would show him exactly who he had thrown away. 1 week later, Maya sat in a downtown law office conference room across from Marcus and his expensive suited lawyer. Her own attorney, Patricia, sat calmly beside her. "Let's make this simple," Marcus's lawyer said, sliding papers across the table. "My client requests 50-50 division of all marital assets. The house, vehicles, savings and checking accounts, retirement funds, and any jointly acquired property." Maya read through the papers slowly. Marcus sat across from her, not quite meeting her eyes. He wore a new suit, probably bought with Victoria's money. His hair was freshly cut. He looked like he was already living his new life. "This seems fair," Maya said quietly. Marcus's lawyer blinked, clearly surprised. "You're agreeing to the terms?" "Yes," Maya said, looking directly at Marcus. "I'll sign whatever you want. You can have the house. I'll buy something smaller. You can have your car. I'll keep mine. We'll split the savings down the middle. I'm not going to fight you." Patricia touched her arm gently. They had already discussed strategy. Maya knew exactly what she was doing. "That's very reasonable," Marcus's lawyer said, though he sounded suspicious. "I just want this over," Maya said. And that part was true. 8 years is a long time. I'm not going to drag this out and make it ugly. If you want to move on, then move on. Marcus finally looked at her. "I appreciate that, Maya. I know this is hard, but you're handling it with class." She almost laughed. He was telling her she had class while sitting with his divorce lawyer days after walking out on their marriage. But she kept her face neutral, professional. "There is one thing," Patricia said, pulling out papers. "My client has significant assets acquired before the marriage or kept separate during the marriage. We need to ensure those aren't part of the settlement." Marcus's lawyer frowned. "What assets?" "My client owns an LLC formed before the marriage," Patricia said smoothly. "She has investments, retirement accounts, and other holdings solely in her name, never commingled with marital property. We're providing documentation to show these are separate assets, not subject to division." "What LLC?" Marcus asked, looking at Maya with confusion. "Just a small consulting business," Maya said, which was technically true. "I formed it years ago for tax purposes. It's not worth much." Patricia slid documents across the table showing the LLC formation, corporate structure, and a financial statement showing modest assets. The statement was accurate, but incomplete. It showed the company's value from 5 years ago, before major growth, before Gerald's investment, before they scaled to hundreds of clients. Marcus's lawyer skimmed the documents. "This all looks in order. These assets are clearly separate property." "Good," Maya said. "Then we're done." They spent another hour on details. Marcus would keep the house, but refinance to remove Maya's name. They would split their savings account with about $60,000. They would each keep their own cars, retirement accounts, personal property. Maya signed every paper without hesitation. She watched Marcus sign with a little smile, probably thinking about marrying into money and power. Probably thinking he got everything he wanted. "I'll move out this weekend," Maya said as they stood to leave. "I'll take my clothes and personal items. You can have the furniture and everything else." "You don't want to fight for the furniture?" Marcus asked, satisfaction in his voice. He thought she was giving up, rolling over, making it easy because she had no fight. It's just furniture, Maya shrugged. I can buy new furniture. As they walked out, Marcus stopped her in the hallway. Victoria was waiting by the elevators, scrolling through her phone. I really do hope you find someone good, Marcus said, sounding almost sincere. Someone who makes you happy. You deserve that. Maya looked at him. This man she had loved for 8 years. This man who thought he knew her. I'll be fine, Marcus. Don't worry about me. I just don't want you to be alone, he said. I know you're not great at putting yourself out there, but there's someone for everyone. Someone on your level. There it was again. Your level. Like she was some common thing, some ordinary person who should be grateful for scraps of affection. I'll keep that in mind, Maya said and walked toward the elevator where Victoria waited. She heard them talking as she pushed the button. That was easier than I thought, Marcus said. See, I told you she wouldn't fight, Victoria replied. Girls like that never do. They just accept what they're given and move on. The elevator doors closed before Maya could hear more. She rode down with Patricia, neither speaking until they were outside. That went well, Patricia said with a small smile. He has no idea what he just walked away from. Not yet, Maya agreed. But he will. 2 months after signing divorce papers, Maya settled into her new life. The apartment that felt empty at first now felt like home. She bought simple furniture, hung favorite photos, and set up her office in the living room corner. Everything was neat, organized, and entirely hers. She threw herself into work with surprising intensity. Every morning, she woke at 6, made coffee in her small kitchen, and was at her desk by 7. She attended virtual meetings, reviewed code with her development team, and worked with Gerald on expansion plans. Her company was about to take a major leap. They had developed new software that could handle enterprise-level clients, not just small and mid-sized businesses. Gerald had connections at several Fortune 500 companies interested in testing it. We need to hire more people, Gerald said during a weekly strategy meeting. If we're handling enterprise clients, we need dedicated account managers, more customer service staff, and at least 5 more developers. I know, Maya said, studying spreadsheets on her screen. We have the money. We're profitable enough to support growth. We should also think about moving to a bigger office, Gerald continued. What we have now is fine for 60 people, but if we're expanding to enterprise level, we need room to grow, and we need to look more established. What did you have in mind? Gerald pulled up photos. There's a building downtown in the tech hub area. Lots of other successful companies in the same complex. 5 floors available. We could take 3 now with the option to expand if we keep growing at this rate. Maya studied the photos. The building was modern, all glass and steel with city skyline views. Exactly where serious tech companies lived. How much? Gerald named a figure that made her pause, but only for a moment. We can afford it, especially if the enterprise deals come through. Then let's do it, Maya decided. Start the paperwork. I want to move before the end of the quarter. After the meeting, Maya allowed herself a moment to think. 2 months ago, she lived with a man who thought she was ordinary. Now she was making decisions about taking 3 floors in a premium building. The contrast was almost funny. Her phone buzzed with a text from Michelle, her friend and financial advisor. Coffee this weekend? Want to hear how you're doing. Saturday morning, Maya typed back. Same coffee shop. Saturday came with cool air and clear skies. Maya met Michelle at their favorite coffee shop. Michelle was already there at their usual window table. You look good, Michelle said as Maya sat down. Better than I expected. Better than the sad divorced woman you were expecting? Maya asked with a slight smile. Maybe, Michelle admitted. I know Marcus leaving was hard, but you seem okay. More than okay, actually. Maya sipped her coffee. I am okay. Actually, I'm great. It's strange, but I feel like myself for the first time in years. I didn't realize how much energy I was spending trying to be what Marcus wanted me to be. What did he want you to be? Small, Maya said simply. He wanted me small and simple, and satisfied with being less than I am. Every time I wanted to talk about work, he would change the subject. Every time I got excited about something I built, he would nod and then talk about his own day. I was just background noise in his life. Michelle reached across the table and squeezed her hand. His loss, truly. I know that now, Maya said. At first, when he left, I felt like something was wrong with me. Like I wasn't good enough or interesting enough or connected enough. But now I realize he was the one who wasn't enough. He couldn't see what was right in front of him because he was too busy chasing what he thought would make him important. Have you heard anything about him and Victoria? Maya shook her head. I deleted him from all social media. I don't want to know. Whatever they're doing isn't my business anymore. But Michelle pulled out her phone with a guilty expression. I've been keeping track, just out of curiosity. Do you want to know? Maya hesitated, then nodded. Tell me. Michelle scrolled and turned her phone. Marcus's social media was public and full of photos from the past 2 months. Him and Victoria at expensive restaurants. At charity galas. On a yacht. Him in a new suit standing in front of a corporate building announcing his new executive position at one of the leading tech companies in the region. He thinks he's made it. Michelle said quietly. Maya studied the photos. Marcus looked happy, proud, like he finally got everything he wanted. Victoria was always beside him, always smiling, always touching him possessively. They looked like the perfect power couple. Let him enjoy it, Maya said, handing back the phone. It won't last. When are you going to tell him? Michelle asked. Soon, Maya said. Very soon. We're moving to the new office building next month. We're onboarding our first enterprise clients, and we're making changes to our leadership structure that will make everything very clear. I can't wait to see his face when he finds out. Maya smiled. Neither can I. 3 months after the divorce was finalized, Marcus and Victoria got married. Maya knew because the event was all over social media. Hundreds of guests, elaborate flowers, a live band. Marcus posted photos with captions about marrying his best friend and starting his new life. Maya saw the photos because Michelle sent them with a message. You okay? I know this might be hard to see, but Maya wasn't in her apartment. She was at the new office building, working late on a Saturday night because she chose to. Her company had moved in 2 weeks ago, and the space was beautiful. 3 floors of open workspace, private offices, conference rooms, and a break room with a city view that made everyone stop and stare. James had done an incredible job with the design. The architect Gerald hired understood immediately what she wanted. Professional but warm, modern but comfortable. A space that made people want to work there. They had spent hours going over plans. And somewhere during those hours, they started talking about more than office design. James was different from Marcus in every way. He listened when Maya talked about her company, asked intelligent questions, and seemed genuinely impressed by what she built. He was kind without being weak, confident without being arrogant. He made her laugh. They had been on 5 dates so far. Nothing serious yet, but something that felt like it could become serious if they both wanted it. I'm fine, Maya texted Michelle. Actually, I'm glad he's happy. Makes what's coming next even better. When? Michelle asked. Monday. Maya replied. Marcus starts his new job on Monday. She set down her phone and looked around the executive office James had designed for her. Floor-to-ceiling windows, a desk made of reclaimed wood, bookshelves filled with coding manuals and business books, and on the wall, her framed degrees and awards, her company had one. Gerald knocked on her open door. "Working late?" "Just getting ready for Monday," Maya said. "Is everything set?" "Everything's set," Gerald confirmed, sitting across from her desk. "Marcus will arrive at 9 for orientation. HR will bring him to the conference room for his first meeting. The entire executive team will be there." "Including me," Maya said. "Including you," Gerald agreed. "Are you nervous?" "Not even a little bit," Maya said. "Honestly, I've been waiting for this moment for months." "I'm ready." Gerald smiled. He has no idea what's about to hit him. That's what makes it perfect. They sat in comfortable silence. Gerald had become more than just a business partner. He was a mentor, a friend, someone who believed in her when she was just a programmer with an idea. "You know," Gerald said, "I never liked Marcus. Even before all this. I met him a few times at your company parties, and there was always something off about him. The way he talked about you, like you were some hobby he had instead of his partner." "Why didn't you say anything?" "Because it wasn't my place," Gerald said. "And because I knew you were smart enough to figure it out eventually. I just didn't think it would happen this way." "Me neither," Maya admitted. "I thought we would grow old together. I thought he loved me. But looking back, I don't think he ever really saw me. He saw what he wanted me to be, and when someone else offered him something better, he left. His mistake." "His very expensive mistake," Maya said with a slight smile. They talked for a few more minutes about Monday's meeting, about new clients, about the company's future. Then Gerald left, and Maya sat alone in her office, looking out at the city lights. Her phone buzzed with a text from James. "Hope you're not working too late. Remember, even bosses need sleep." She smiled and typed back. "Just finishing up." "How was your weekend?" "Good. Finished a project that's been taking forever." "Free for dinner this week?" "Wednesday?" She suggested. "Perfect. I'll pick you up at 7. Maya set down her phone and took one more look at the photos Michelle had sent. Marcus in his expensive suit, Victoria in her designer wedding dress, both smiling like they had won the lottery. They looked so happy, so confident, so sure they had made all the right choices. Tomorrow was Sunday. Marcus and Victoria were probably on their honeymoon somewhere expensive and beautiful, completely unaware that their perfect new life was about to fall apart. Maya shut down her computer and gathered her things. She took the elevator to the parking garage and drove home. She made dinner, took a long shower, and went to bed early because she wanted to be rested. Monday morning would change everything. Marcus would walk into his new job expecting to start his new life as an executive at a major tech company. Monday morning, he would find out exactly who owned that company. And Monday morning, Maya would finally get to see his face when he realized what he had thrown away. Monday morning arrived cold and bright. Maya woke at 6, went for a short run, showered, and dressed carefully in a navy suit she had bought specifically for this day. She wanted to look professional, powerful, like the CEO she had become. The office was already buzzing when she arrived at 8. Employees were at their desks, coffee brewing, the energy of a new week filling the air. Several people greeted her as she walked to the second floor toward the elevator. "Morning, boss," called Rachel, who had been her first employee and was now head of customer success. "Good morning," Maya replied with a smile. She took the elevator to the third floor where executive offices were located. Gerald was already in the conference room setting up for the meeting. "Ready?" he asked when she walked in. "Ready," she confirmed. "Marcus should be here in about 30 minutes, Gerald said, checking his watch. HR will meet him in the lobby, give him his badge and paperwork, and bring him up here for his first meeting. Who else is joining us?" "The full executive team. Me, you, Rebecca from HR, Thomas from operations, and Denise from finance. We want him to see the entire leadership structure right away." The other executives arrived over the next 15 minutes. They all knew what was about to happen, and there was a sense of anticipation in the air. Nobody particularly liked what Marcus had done to Maya, and they were all looking forward to this moment. At exactly 9, Gerald's phone buzzed with a message from the front desk. "He's here." Maya sat at the head of the conference table. Gerald sat to her right. The other executives filled remaining seats. They could hear voices in the hallway. The HR manager showing Marcus around, explaining office layouts and procedures. The voices got closer. The conference room door opened, and Marcus walked in. He was wearing a new suit, probably bought for his first day. His hair was perfectly styled. He had a confident smile on his face. The smile of a man who thought he had finally made it to where he belonged. The smile disappeared the second he saw Maya. His face went through several emotions in rapid succession. Confusion, disbelief, shock, and then something close to horror. He stopped walking so suddenly that the HR manager almost bumped into him. "What are you doing here?" Marcus asked, staring at Maya. "I work here," Maya said calmly. "Please have a seat." "I don't understand," Marcus said. He looked at Gerald. "You're supposed to be Victoria's father. You own this company." "I've never met Victoria," Gerald said. "And I don't own this company. I'm a minority partner and chief operating officer. Maya owns this company. She's the founder and CEO." Marcus looked back at Maya, his face pale. "That's impossible. You worked in IT. You had a regular job." "I had my own company," Maya corrected. "The one I built from nothing while you were focused on climbing other people's ladders. The LLC you saw paperwork for during our divorce? This is it. You just never asked questions about how big it was." "But you were just a programmer," Marcus said weakly. "You worked from home on your laptop." "I was building a software company," Maya said. "From our apartment, then from a small office, then from a bigger office, and now from here. 3 floors in this building, 90 employees. Annual revenue in the 8 figures. 100% owned by me." Marcus slowly sat down in an empty chair, his face still pale. "Victoria said her father owned a major tech company. She said he was offering me an executive position." "I offered you a position," Gerald said. "Through our HR department. Standard procedure for all new hires. But I'm not Victoria's father. I don't even know who her father is." "He's our chief operating officer," Rebecca from HR added. "But that's not the same as being the owner or CEO. I'm not sure where the confusion came from." Marcus's hands were shaking slightly on the table. "She told me. She said her father owned this company. She said he wanted to bring me on as an executive." "The position we offered you was in sales," Rebecca continued. "A standard sales position with standard compensation, not executive level. We do need experienced salespeople as we expand to enterprise clients, and your resume was good. That's why we made the offer." "But she said," Marcus repeated, and he sounded lost now. "She said I would be making 6 figures. Stock options. Executive benefits. Sales positions can make 6 figures if you're good at it," Gerald said. "With commission and bonuses. But it's not executive level." "That's a misunderstanding." Maya watched Marcus's face as reality crashed down on him. She could see him putting the pieces together. Victoria had lied. Her father was not the owner of this company. The executive position was not real. The future Marcus thought he was marrying into did not exist. "We're going to cancel the job offer," Maya said quietly. "It's not appropriate for you to work here given our history. I'm sorry you were misled about what this position entailed." "You're firing me?" Marcus asked, looking up at her. "Before I even started?" "I'm withdrawing an offer that was made under false pretenses," Maya corrected. If you had been honest about your connection to me during the hiring process, we never would have extended the offer in the first place. Connection? Marcus repeated. We're divorced. That's not a connection. You're my ex-husband, Maya said. That's a connection, and it's a conflict of interest. I can't have you working for my company. Marcus stood suddenly, his chair scraping against the floor. This is because I left you. You're doing this out of revenge. I'm doing this because it's inappropriate, Maya said, her voice still calm. If you had known who owned this company, would you have accepted the job? Marcus opened his mouth, then closed it. They both knew the answer. If he had known Maya owned this company, he never would have taken the job. He left her because he thought Victoria's connections would give him a better future. The whole point was to marry into money and power. How long have you owned this company? Marcus asked quietly. I founded it 8 years ago, Maya said. Right after we got married. I built it while we were together. 8 years? Marcus repeated. You've been running a multi-million-dollar company for 8 years, and you never told me? You never asked, Maya said simply. You knew I had an LLC. You knew I did consulting work. You just never cared enough to ask for details. You assumed I was small and ordinary, so that's what you saw. Marcus looked around the conference room at the executives sitting at the table, at the view of the city through the windows, at everything that represented the company Maya had built. How much is this company worth? That's confidential, Gerald said. How much? Marcus demanded, his voice rising. Maya looked at him steadily. More than you would have gotten in a divorce if you had known about it. Much more. The color drained from Marcus's face completely. She could see him doing the math, realizing what he had walked away from. He had divorced her thinking she was just a regular tech worker with a modest income. He had settled for half of their visible assets, the house, the savings account, the cars, thinking that was all there was. He had never known about the real money, the company, the investments. The wealth Maya had carefully kept separate and hidden. You let me think you were poor, Marcus said, and there was anger in his voice now. I let you think what you wanted to think. Maya corrected. I never lied. I just never told you how successful my business had become. You made assumptions, and I didn't correct them. Because you were planning this, Marcus accused. You were planning to divorce me and keep everything. No, Maya said firmly. I built this company to protect myself, but I never planned to leave you. You're the one who left me, Marcus. You're the one who walked out on our marriage because you thought you found someone with better connections. You're the one who chose money and status over the person who actually loved you. Marcus grabbed the edge of the table, and for a moment, Maya thought he might flip it over. Instead, he just stood there breathing hard, looking at her with a mixture of rage and desperation. I need this job, he said finally. Victoria's father doesn't actually have a company. She lied to me. We spent everything on the wedding. I quit my old job. I need this. That's not my problem, Maya said quietly. You made your choices, Marcus. You have to live with them. Rebecca stood up. I'll show you out, Mr. Collins. Marcus looked at Maya one more time. You're really not going to help me? No, Maya said. I'm really not. He walked out of the conference room with Rebecca. His shoulders slumped, his confidence completely gone. Maya watched him go, feeling nothing but relief. Gerald leaned back in his chair. That went well. He's going to tell Victoria, Denise said. And Victoria's going to realize she married someone with no money and no prospects. Not my problem, Maya said, echoing her own words. They made their choices. She stood and looked at her executive team. Thank you all for being here. I know this was personal, but I appreciate your support. You deserve this moment, Thomas said. After what he did to you. Maya smiled. Maybe, but honestly, this company isn't about him. It was never about him. This is about what I built, what we all built together. It was just a reminder that I don't need anyone who doesn't see my value. The meeting ended and everyone went back to their offices. Maya sat alone in the conference room for a few minutes, looking out at the city. Her phone buzzed with a text from James. "How did it go?" She typed back, "Perfect. Absolutely perfect. Want to talk about it over dinner tonight instead of Wednesday?" "Yes," Maya replied. "Definitely yes." She put her phone away and went back to work. There were clients to call, projects to manage, a company to run. Marcus was already fading into her past. A lesson learned, a chapter closed on, and for the first time in a long time, Maya felt completely at peace. Over the following weeks, news filtered back to Maya through mutual friends. Marcus had tried to reach out to her, sending messages that her assistant blocked. Victoria had left him, filing for an annulment claiming fraud. Marcus had taken his old job back at a much lower position than where he left. Maya heard all of this without satisfaction or anger, just acceptance. Marcus had made his choices based on greed and ambition. Now he was living with the consequences. That was justice enough. Meanwhile, Maya's company continued to thrive. They secured enterprise clients. They expanded to new cities. Her relationship with James deepened into something real and meaningful. He proposed after a year, not with grand gestures or expensive rings, but with a simple question over dinner. "Will you build a life with me?" Maya said yes because James saw her. Really saw her. Not for what she could give him, but for who she was. They bought a house together, a modern place with big windows and space for the future they were planning. Maya stood in her living room surrounded by boxes and possibilities, and James wrapped his arms around her. "Happy?" he asked. "So happy," Maya said, and she meant it. "I didn't know I could feel this way." Content and excited at the same time. "That's how it's supposed to feel," James said. "Building a life with someone who actually sees you." 18 months after the divorce, Maya stood in her office on a Friday afternoon, looking out at the city skyline. In her hand was a glass of champagne. Around her were Gerald, her executive team, and key employees who had been with the company from the beginning. "Today," Gerald said, raising his glass, "we celebrate. Our company just went public at a valuation of $800 million. Maya, you did it. You built something incredible." Everyone cheered and clinked glasses. Maya smiled, feeling pride that was almost overwhelming. She had started this company in a spare bedroom with nothing but an idea and determination. Now it was a publicly traded corporation employing over 300 people across 5 offices. "I didn't do it alone," Maya said, her voice carrying across the room. "Every person in this room helped build this company. Every late night, every problem solved, every client served, we did that together. This success belongs to all of us." More cheers, more champagne, more celebration. After a while, people filtered out, heading to the planned party at a downtown restaurant. Gerald lingered behind with Maya. "How does it feel?" he asked. "Surreal," Maya admitted. "Good, but surreal. 2 years ago, I was married to someone who thought I was ordinary. Now I'm standing here as the CEO of a publicly traded company. It's a lot to process." "You were never ordinary," Gerald said. Marcus was just too blind to see it. "Maybe," Maya said. "Or maybe I needed him to leave so I could fully become who I was meant to be. Either way, I'm grateful for where I ended up." At the celebration party that night, surrounded by people who genuinely cared about her success, Maya reflected on her journey. From a shy college student with a coding dream to a successful CEO. From a woman who made herself small to please her husband to someone who stood tall in her own accomplishments. Later, walking along the waterfront with James, he said something that stayed with her. "I love you," he said simply. "I love who you are, what you've built, and how you treat the people around you. I love everything about you. I love you too, Maya said. I didn't think I would feel this way again after Marcus. But you're nothing like him. You see me for who I really am, and you love me for it. Not despite it, James corrected. Because of who you are. That's why I love you. 6 months later, Maya received an email from a young woman who had just started her own tech company. The woman had read about Maya's story and wanted advice on how to grow her business while protecting herself and her assets. Maya wrote back with detailed advice, sharing lessons she had learned the hard way. She told the woman to trust her instincts, protect her work, and never make herself smaller to make someone else comfortable. Build your empire, Maya wrote, and never apologize for your success. The right people will celebrate it with you. The wrong people will leave. Let them. She hit send and returned to her work, running the company she built, planning her future with James, and living the life she always deserved. Marcus had once told her she was holding him back. But the truth was, she had been the one held back by a man who couldn't see her value. Now, finally free, she soared. The moral. True worth isn't determined by others' perceptions. Those who value you only for what you can give them will leave when they think they've found something better. But those who see and celebrate your authentic self will help you reach heights you never imagined. Success built on deception crumbles, while success built on truth and hard work stands forever. Never diminish yourself to fit someone else's narrow vision. The right people will love you not despite your greatness, but because of it.